Welcome to another episode of the Introspections podcast. This episode is called Mindset, a Space Odyssey. My guest today is a life coach, a business coach, an entrepreneur, and an angel investor. Our guest has helped a lot of people cultivate success from within. He's also helped a lot of people discover what their true calling is. Introspections is here to help you cultivate success from within through the eyes of experts, mentors, and peers. So if you're a young manager or young executive or a CEO of a business, this podcast is for you because it's going to help you understand why you need to cultivate success from within before it can show outside externally. With that said, my guest is Ahmed Hamwi, and stay tuned to this episode to find out what he has to say. Hey Ahmed.
Good morning.
Morning. Thank you for coming to the Introspections podcast.
Thank you for inviting me.
This is episode 5. Had a couple of guests, and I think you're one of the few, so thanks for making the time.
Of course, it's lovely to be here.
Okay, so I'll get right into it. Tell me about what kind of upbringing you had, because I've always been fascinated, first of all, by the fact that you thought of getting into aerospace. So I just got curious, like, what kind of upbringing did you have that made you think that's even possible for you?
Well, I've had an interesting childhood. I'm the third born.
Okay.
But so I had 2 sisters, then myself, then my little brother. So according to that, I'm still the oldest guy in the house.
Okay.
So I have the responsibility of my sisters and my brother.
Okay.
Yeah. So that started it. But since I was a kid, I've always been fascinated by everything related to space. And one of the things I had in my bedroom are those fluorescent stars all over the
ones
ceiling.
You stick on the ceiling.
Yes.
And they glow.
Like that was what I wanted for my birthday, and then my parents gave me, and I just used to just sit there and watch them the whole time. And it's my same bedroom was there almost for 15 years in my childhood. So that's always been what I looked at every night, thinking, reflecting, and so on. Then apart from that, I've always been into any shows and cartoons and so on related to space. Of course, Buzz Lightyear and all that stuff. Yeah, so it's always been an interest for me. But apart from that, I've always been interested in learning how things actually work.
Okay.
And I only discovered that recently.
Okay.
That was actually what was happening with me. So I've always been interested in learning how things work. And things are the machines and the humans.
Okay.
Yeah. So since I was like 4 years old, I used to steal any electrical components at home, the iron, the TV, the radio, this, and open them to see how they function inside, how they work, and so on. I've always been fascinated with that. I don't know why this word is getting stuck today. So, but the sad thing is that I only learned how to put them back together when I was 12. So my parents used to lock the things and hide them when they leave home. But on the other hand, I've been interested in psychology also from a very young age. And I've always been a good listener. And automatically it made a lot of people come and share their problems with me. And that's starting like really young age. I'm talking about 7, 8. My friends, my cousins, my siblings, they all come to me, this is happening. And then when the problems started getting a bit more serious with some of my friends and cousins, not in a good way, I started not knowing what to say. So that's when I started reading a lot of books related to that. Like if someone had this in their life, what can I say? How can I do it?
Right.
And since then, I started also learning how humans functions on the inside.
Okay.
Growing all the way to school, I started doing medicine.
Okay.
for me to understand human bodies
Human
more
body,
and
okay.
so on.
Did you have a feeling that it was interconnected with the mind in a way? Or it was just a separate interest?
No, it was a separate interest. I've always been very interested in biology.
Okay.
And I used to be the A student in school when it comes to biology.
Same here.
Yeah, so I wanted to do medicine, but now when I actually started medicine in the university, my first year, I was like school and everything, but it's gonna take me 10 years to finish, and that might be too much for me.
That's a creative thing.
So let me do the other thing that I really liked, which is computers, because for a few years I've been an ethical hacker. So I was working with softwares and so on. That's why I started studying software engineering, which is how machines think.
Okay.
Yeah, and started seeing the patterns between how machines think and how humans think, and that if you study it deep enough, you'll find patterns in human thinking and patterns in machine thinking.
Machine thinking.
And that's what is AI today.
Okay.
Now, what really propelled my career is that to study software engineering was something that my parents were against, because my parents, with their age and background, didn't believe that computers would do anything. I'm talking, this is 2006, 2007. So they were like, well, we're not going to pay for that. Medicine, we're happy to do it. But for software engineering, no. So I still said, well, I'm still going to do it. I'll pay for my own school. That's when I started my entrepreneurship career.
Okay.
Yeah. And I registered my first company when I was 18 and 1 day. Because you're not allowed below 18 to register a company.
Okay.
So on my birthday, the next day, I went and registered the first company. I was bringing stuff from China, and I brought everything. I'm talking about tablets, chairs, windows, dresses for girls, wedding dresses, earrings, whatever I could. I'll do a market study. I start selling them in school and so on. I was a waiter. I did a lot of different jobs. Yeah, that's what I can say. So all that propelled my entrepreneurship career and taught me how to work, how to partner with people, how to work with employees, because I had people I was hiring to do small things here and there, the deliveries, this, that. So by the time I graduated with a software engineering degree and started working in that, my entrepreneurship mind has already been developed, especially that I always supply it with a lot of reading and listening to podcasts and so on since that time. So I finished. 2 years later, I was employed as soon as I finished, actually, before I even finished. Then I started climbing the ladder really fast. So by the second year of me graduating, I was already a manager at a company related to IT and so on, and I had people under me because I was really good with people and how to maximize the efforts of each person. Yeah, which is combining psychology and tech and business at the same time to have a team that loves you and trusts you to do what needs to be done. Then a year later, I got an opportunity to come to Zambia as a tourist.
Okay, what year was that?
2014.
Okay.
So I came as a tourist, went to a few nice places, met some people and so on. And I was like, wow, this country is beautiful. This country has a lot of potential. And I see a lot of things that are there in Lebanon, where I come from, that are not here, that can probably work here.
Was that your first time in Africa?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So went back home, thought about it, started doing a lot of Google studies to see what is Zambia about, how is the life here, how much it costs, all that stuff and so on. And then started looking for jobs. Then finally I got into one, and I came to Zambia as a director for roto tanks. It was supposed to be a small assignment for a year, but then I proved myself, ran the company well, and the same owners of the company had other companies, which coincidentally I had to run because of medical problems that didn't allow them to be in Zambia.
Okay.
And 4 years later, I was still there, running the company and everything, with our agreement that I'm opening my own company. So by the time I started my own company, I left that job and jumped into my own company, which was related to tech and food. So we were delivering healthy food to businesses and offices and so on, in a subscription model with an app and all that.
Okay.
And that was going really well, apart from some other side FMCG business, which is logistics and all that stuff. Then Corona hit. Yes. So it was a blessing in disguise, because when Corona hit, it hit me personally. So on New Year's Eve of 2021, I started feeling sick. The next day in the morning, I was in a very bad shape. Went to the hospital and I was diagnosed with Corona.
Was that like a frightening moment for you? Because at the time, I'm sure everyone was like, if you get
honestly, I didn't really believe in Corona
Yes,
until it hit me. And I was like, just one of those, it will just go away. But then it quickly escalated in 2 weeks. So started losing all your senses and all that stuff, the taste and the smell and all that. But then it started escalating more. I had a lot of brain fog. So I used to forget things, which day we are, which year we are.
Is that one of the symptoms?
Yeah.
Wow.
And then I had COVID insomnia, which is, it happens to 20% of people who had COVID, where you can't sleep.
Wow.
Your eyes will be crying, your body is completely exhausted, but you just can't sleep. So what happens, you black out, like you just like shut down, like that. Then you wake up after 10 minutes.
Wow.
It was very exhausting. At the hospitals, I went to a couple of them. They gave me everything there is, until one day the doctor told me, we gave you everything. There's nothing else we can do. We prefer if you go home and continue taking the medicine so you don't catch another disease, because your immunity is really low. So in the hospital, it might be a bit dangerous for you. So I went home and things started going worse and worse. I was just on my sofa when I coughed, and then there was blood everywhere. Well, I was holding my phone and there was blood everywhere.
Just on the screen.
Yeah, so I was rushed to the hospital again. They found lung punctures, and that like it was really bad. The doctor even called my parents in Lebanon and said that we don't think he's gonna make it till morning.
Wow.
Yeah, I have that recording actually. Yeah, so it was that night that I was really thinking, like, I'm not done here yet.
Yeah.
I still need to do things, you know. And somehow I started like just pushing myself, and of course with the help of medicines and all that stuff. That was the worst night when they said, like, they gave up on me, the doctors, and then I started getting better. It took me 6 months for me to be able to get up from the bed. I couldn't walk 10 seconds before I collapsed because I didn't have enough oxygen in my lungs. But then it was that period that I posted online that I'm not done here yet, and my goal is to touch 1 million lives by 2025.
Do you think that was a necessary moment for you? Like, would you have pursued what you're trying to do more aggressively like, would you have used the same intensity if you didn't catch COVID versus if you did? Do you think that was a very necessary moment?
I think so, because being in that trance or fog or whatever you want to call it, I had a lot of time to reflect on a lot of things. And one of the things that happened is in some of the previous projects I worked in was agriculture project in Siavonga. We had big farms and we were doing a lot of different fruits and vegetables and so on. And my biggest point of annoyance was that we didn't have enough details about the soil to know how to maximize. because I'm that technical person, you know,
Yeah.
in coding and so on.
Yeah.
Everything is there, but now when you go to the field and there's missing components, you don't know why the tomato is growing this
Yeah,
much or
yeah.
not. So I needed more details, and that as an OCD, like I
Yeah.
couldn't get it. So the only way was to take a soil sample and send it to South Africa, and it comes back after 2 weeks with the results,
Okay.
which is too long because it takes 8 to 12 weeks the whole season. So now we could afford to do that, but the millions of farmers in Zambia can't afford to do that. And while I'm sitting there, I'll be like, how can I actually touch those 1 million lives by 2025? I need to find something big enough to do that. And my idea was about the agriculture because it annoyed me. So then I was like, okay, maybe we use drones because I'm a drone enthusiast. I have a couple of drones and so on. But then it's still not gonna help big enough people because you need to be there.
Yeah.
And that's when I thought of space.
Mm-hmm.
So luckily around that time, there was an online application for space innovation projects
Yeah.
in Paris. So I just applied to it.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, okay, I want to do an artificial intelligence.
Had you already been working on the concept before you applied, or you looked at the application? and
Well,
thought-
because of the application, I thought of the concept, more or less.
Mhm.
So I had the ideas, but they were scattered.
Mhm.
But now, because of the application, it
They
forces
kind of
you to
merged.
put them together. So I was like, okay, if we use a satellite, it can scan all of Zambia.
Wow.
And if we use AI, artificial intelligence,
Mhm.
it can
Detect soil
it can
composition.
detect some stuff and layer different data layers together to come up with something.
Mm.
So worked on the concept and I applied, and I honestly had no idea it's gonna work.
Yeah.
And I applied to it, threw it there, and continued my life. Then 6 months later, we received an email. I was chilling home with my friends playing Call of Duty, and then I received the email, and they just heard me like screaming. What happened? I was like, well, from all across the world, they chose 5 teams to go to Paris and represent their innovation, and my team is one of them. Yeah, so that was really good. But unfortunately, it was COVID that time, so we
Yeah.
couldn't travel. But still, it was a very big thing.
Yeah.
Now, we didn't win that competition, and that's what people need to know, that not every time you need to win for you to be satisfied.
Yeah.
Even losing is okay sometimes. So we lost that competition because we didn't have a prototype for what we wanted.
Mhm.
We just had an idea. The other teams had a prototype. But still, it was a very big thing. Started readjusting the model, seeing who to partner with, went to UNZA, had some students to work with us, all that stuff. And then applied to another competition in South Africa, and then won Africa's Best Space Innovation Company.
Mm.
That was big. Then there was another competition in Kenya. Again, won Kenya Earth Observation Challenge, which is all of African countries. So started working more and more on it, and finally it led to a very big win for us, which I will tell you after I tell you that throughout this 2 years of me working on this crazy space project, we had no support.
Okay.
And I want to tell the audience about that, because it's really important to know that sometimes people don't believe in your dreams because it's your dreams.
Yeah. And that's okay, right?
Yeah,
Like it's
like no one sees your dreams at night, and it's okay if they don't see it during the day. You understand? So I didn't have support from my friends, not even my family, not even government. No one was with me. No, who are you to do something like this? Do you think you're Elon Musk? Do you think you don't have money to do this? Zambia has never done anything like this.
Yeah.
Just forget about it, get a job, settle down, you need to get married, all that stuff.
That's what I was about to ask. Like,
Yeah.
I'm sure when you walk around telling people locally about
Yeah.
your concept, they'll be like, who does this person think he is? A Zambian trying to start a space company, right?
Yeah. So I didn't care. I continued working because it's my dream. And last year got invited to NASA, which was one of the best days of my life.
Wow.
So it took me back when I was a kid, and I was like,
And you have these stairs. Yeah,
I
it
did
was
this
like a
for
full
you.
circle moment.
Yeah, I did this for you. I'm standing there in NASA presenting. We took with us some ministers from here, from Zambia, to start Zambia's first the space project for Zambia. And yeah, it was a very proud moment. Now, unfortunately, due to some logistics or politics or whatever you want to call it, the project hasn't really kicked off. Maybe in the next year or two it will. But it has aligned me with my purpose.
Right.
My purpose is to help save lives of the farmers who are suffering from drought and not knowing what to do and all that. And my purpose is also to take Zambia to new heights.
Right.
Yeah. As I said, I fell in love with Zambia, and I truly believe myself that this is home for me. People tell me, don't you miss Lebanon? You never go there. And so I was like, well, I miss it. It's my home country and everything. My parents are there, but this is home for me. When I travel for more than 10 days, I miss Zambia. I miss my friends here. I miss my family here. I don't have actual family, blood family here, but it's the people around you that support you and believe in you that become family. Exactly. So that's why I think you just saw yesterday we released a new project.
That one is literally launching Zambia to new heights.
Yes. So again, it's something I've been working on for 2-3 years, and no one believed in it, including the people who are my partners now. Yes. You can't believe how many no's I've heard. Like, who is this Zambia? Is it Zimbabwe? Like, seriously, this is what people in America ask me, because they don't know. They never heard of Zambia being out there. And that annoys me. I'd be like, no, you will see who's Zambia. So I finally partnered with a company called Space Hero. Space Hero is doing the first reality TV show in space. A bunch of people going with Elon Musk to space for 5 days, live on TV, like Big Brother, but of space. And I managed to secure one spot for a Zambian.
Okay.
Yes.
Wow, that's great.
Now, to choose that Zambian, I had to tap into what I love, which is games.
Okay.
Yes. So I decided to choose this Zambian. I want to do a TV show that's like an obstacle course kind of TV show, Squid Games kind of
Amazing
TV show, all those stuff, Takeshi's Castle, whatever you want to call it. But it will be the first in the world space game show. So they're not testing you if you're fast or if you're strong. They're testing your abilities in space.
Whoa.
Yeah. So I won't say much. You'll see the TV show soon. But yeah, a month ago we signed the license and we got the spot, and now we started the actual project. So I'm working with David Kazadi Films, Wilombe, and some creatives, and we'll start shooting next month.
Okay. The
first ever space game show in the world.
Yeah.
To choose one Zambian, and the winner of this show will get 1 million kwacha in cash and a ticket to space.
Wow, that's amazing.
That's it.
Yeah. So I want to talk more about that, but I just want to dive into something that you spoke about now. You just went through a good portion of your history in a short period of time, and I like how you weaved it together. At no point did I hear you maybe dwell on the challenges you had, and I'm sure there are multiple challenges you faced.
Yeah.
So what I want to get to is the mindset. What type of mindset have you had to build for you to be this person that's this resilient? I know some things are like inborn, like you have certain attributes that make things go a certain way, but along the way, what mindset, attitudes have you had to develop to be this resilient? Because very few people can push something for 3 years and not see results and still be
100%
up to it. So
well, I have two concepts. The first one is fail forward. So it's very much okay to fail, but when you fail, always try to fail forward. So when you stand up again, you're at least slightly better that means you have more knowledge, you have more experience. As we say that when you fall down, you don't start from scratch, you start from experience. So all the obstacles are just experiences that you learn from to do better next. And the other concept that really pushes me is that anytime I want to do something or any project, whether you're looking for the yes, whether from a government or from the universe or from God or from whatever, you're looking for that yes. And each project or each idea has a certain number of no's before you get to the yes. So if you want to open a chicken sandwich shop, it will take you 100 no's before you get your yes. If you want to do a space company, it will take you 10,000 no's before you get to the yes. So when I come to you and say, hey, I want to do this, no, it's not gonna work. Okay, thank you. I now have 999 to get there. I go to another person, I want to do this. Dear Minister, I want to do this. President, I want to do this. No, okay, thank you. I still have like 5,000 no's to go. And you keep going, and then boom, the yes comes. And most of the time it comes even before you reach the 10,000. Yeah, and that's what it is. A lot of people get discouraged. Like sometimes I want to meet people. I had this discussion with my partners the past 2 days. I want to meet someone who's a VIP. Okay, and this person keeps delaying or saying, oh no, well, next week, tomorrow, next week, this, that. And they got this guy, this guy doesn't believe in us, let's leave it. I was like, it's okay. I need 100 no's from them before they can get me yes. And that's how I find myself sitting with presidents, I find myself sitting with ministers, not because they know who I am, because I'm the one who's persistent enough to get them to turn the no into a yes. And then when they sit with me and hear what I'm saying, that's how we become automatically friends. Including space hero people who are our partners now. For 3 years, I've been telling them, I want a spot for Zambia. Like, no way, we have like billions of people around the world. Like, why would Zambia that we've never heard of get a spot? I was like, well, I want a spot for Zambia. 3 years of no's. And then one final yes in January 15. And it changed everything.
So all the no's didn't matter in essence?
They were just
building up.
Yeah, it's the price you have to pay. Yeah.
Okay, great. So I guess it was during the COVID period after your recovery that you got into the coaching part. It's something that you mentioned you would do earlier in your life. Tell me how that came about. It's Green Nature, yes?
So Green Future is my company that I registered in Zambia in 2017. Yeah. So combining my psychology and business and tech, since I was in university back in Lebanon, I've always had that part where I wanted to motivate others and show them how they can maximize what they're doing for their efficiency to go up, for me to benefit, of course, because they're my team and so on. So started doing a lot of motivational speaking back in Lebanon, and I think I was 21 when I was standing on a stage with 2,000 people.
Wow.
Yeah. So it was really cool in Lebanon. When I came to Zambia, I put it aside because I was employed and I was the director and all that stuff, and I was super busy, of course. Then when I finally left my formal employment in 2019, that's when it kicked in again, and I started the coaching and the business and all that. The thing is, I'm a serial entrepreneur. As I mentioned to you, I've done so many things, and I haven't even mentioned everything. From construction, agriculture, tech, food, everything you want. So that gave me a lot of ideas about how things work, because before each idea I had to do market research to understand how the Zambian market can accommodate such ideas and so on. So now, because I'm someone who gets bored easily, so I can't do the same thing over and over for years. But what I can do is I can help you figure out what you need to do for your company to grow.
Right.
And the more you succeed, I'll be sitting and happy and so proud, like, yes, I did that.
Yeah.
And it's not money things. Like, usually in my coaching, you come, you sit on a session, you'll pay me whatever fee, $1,000 or $50 or something like that. I help you, 1 session, 5 sessions, whatever it is, and that's it, it's done. And you start flying. And then I'll be looking at your wins and celebrating them with you. And that's what happens to a lot of my coaches, like in Zambia and across the world. And that's what satisfies me.
Okay.
It's something new all the time, new problems in different fields and so on. And I do that. And combining it with a lot of psychology certificates that I got, especially cognitive behavior therapy, CBT, allowed me to see that the biggest problem we have in business is not related to business.
What's it related to?
So I'll sit with someone, they tell me, I'm trying to make money from this project, it's not working and so on. So you tell them you need to do 1, 2, 3 for you to make money by next month. You come back next month, what happened? No, my mom, my sister, my dog, my this, that's why it's not done.
Unrelated to the business.
So when I started taking CBT, cognitive behavior therapy, and embedding it in my coaching, this is when I realized it's a mindset thing more than a business thing that really stopped people from succeeding. And by applying both of them to the person in front of me, I was able to figure out what they really need to succeed. And sometimes that means even leave the idea that you're doing and figure something out completely different. Because as I say, like, I like to help people discover their superpowers. So your superpower could be something not related to what's making you money today.
Right.
So I would tell you that, okay, what's the way, what's the plan for you to leave what you're doing today and jump into what you really want to do, what's your purpose in this life. And I help you discover it and make a plan on how to get there. And luckily, I've had a lot of success in that. Yeah.
Okay, so I want to talk a little bit about CBT. I did an episode 2 which was called Healing the Inner Child, and I had a psychologist on. She talked a bit about cognitive behavior therapy. So cognitive, the term, obviously speaking about the brain. Behavior sounds a bit more like biology, like more with the body, right? Because we behave with our body. You correct me if I'm wrong. I'm trying to understand how you use what CBT looks like in practice and how you use it to help people change mindset.
So I'll give you an example about it. Something that a lot of people suffer from but don't understand. We've all heard a story or know someone, like let's say a girl who's dating a guy who was violent with her, who's physical with her. And then all her friends are advising her, like, leave him, you deserve better, blah, 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 blah. Finally, she decides to leave him. She leaves him, she starts dating another guy who is also abusive. And the friends be like, but why you always go back to that? And they didn't. She doesn't understand. She says, this is the last time, next one, 100% was not going to be the same. Then she finds herself back in that same loop. So in cognitive behavior therapy, we look at the behavior, which is dating someone who's abusive, and the cognitive part, which is the cognition, which is the mind. So where is this behavior coming from? So it takes you back to your childhood. So, for example, this girl, as early as 3 years old, because around that age we are like sponges, we take in everything, but we take them without understanding. So that girl was one day at home, her parents were having a fight, her dad slapped her mom, and her mom said, oh, I'm sorry, let me prepare food for you. And she prepared food and hugged him. So for the girl, who was 3 years old, oh, so he hit her and she showed him love. That must be love. It doesn't make sense, but 3 years old doesn't understand.
So she can't process.
So she took that, it became part of her personality as a child. And when she grew, her behavior is molded by that inner child.
Okay.
So she finds herself automatically leaning towards people like that. I know it doesn't sound right, but this is real stuff that we've worked with.
What's even crazier is that usually, for example, the girl you've given an example of, she might even think the next person she's picking is different, right?
Yeah.
But there's something about how she's wired internally that will make her pick out someone with those
100%,
traits. That's so crazy.
So 80% of our actions and our decisions come from the subconscious. 20% is consciously what we're doing. So that subconscious is molded by all your experiences, and the inner child is the main part of it. So if you don't heal that inner child using various methods and therapists or life coaches, there's a lot of different ways you can heal it. If you don't heal that inner child, you will always find yourself by default getting there, even if you're subconscious, if you're consciously don't want to be there.
Want to be there, okay.
Yeah, that's what happens, unfortunately.
Okay.
Yeah.
So with this podcast, I'm trying to help young managers, young executives, people with ambition, or people that are just trying to achieve success for themselves. I'm trying to help them navigate that, not through the conventional way, but cultivating success from within, right? And I feel like mindset is one of the strongest points to start that out from. So what do you have like practical steps that you take people through in your coaching, or it's not a one size fits all and it's different for everyone?
It's very different. Each person comes with a lot of different experiences and a lot of different components. It's like a puzzle, and each person has very different pieces. So that's why we try to figure out things. And I'm not a psychiatrist.
Right.
Yeah, I'm not even with a degree in psychology. I'm a life coach. So there's different steps and there's different methods that each person uses to get there. And a lot of times I reach a place where like, oh, I believe I need to refer you to a psychologist or a psychiatrist or to another life coach or to a trauma professional. So it's also good to acknowledge what you know and what you don't know, because you're dealing with people's lives. Yeah.
Okay, that's really good. What I also wanted to cover is you spoke about how you have different interests. What's it like being you? How would you describe? That's a very odd question, but I'm just trying to understand. You seem to have your mind on so many different things. So I'm wondering, what you wake up every morning, what are your thoughts, not on the business side, but how the frameworks you use to go through the different.
Well, I think being me is being chilled. I like to balance life and give time to each component of life. So that's why I find, yes, I work hard. I work extremely hard in some days, but I still have time to go to watch every show on Netflix, to play my video games. I love video games, and to sit and chat with my friends and so on. I still have time to play my guitar. I still have time to do my meditation, to do camping. So I believe I'm someone who tries to maximize on time really well. And that's why my favorite app on the phone is Calendar.
Okay.
I can tell you last month on which day I played video games or which day I went out with my friend.
You put everything.
I put everything because I know it sounds a little bit weird, and I don't do it all the time. But in a lot of times when someone calls me and be like, hey, we need to meet, I look at my calendar and be like, no, I'm sorry, I have something I'm committed to. And that's why people rely on me, because they know when I say, yes, I'm coming to this thing, whether it's a party or whether it's a speech, they know I'm there.
Okay. Yeah. Like I said, trying to help young executives, entrepreneurs get to a certain place. And these are the skill sets and mindset that you need. I think most of the most productive people I've ever met work through a calendar. Yeah. There's no two ways about it. They always have a schedule. They're okay with saying no to things that don't match their priorities at the time. So let's say someone's working in an organization, maybe they're a young manager, they're struggling with so many different aspects. Or maybe they've reached that level and they feel like they've made it. what type of mindset are people in leadership positions supposed to have? It doesn't come naturally to everyone, but what do you think is the right approach for someone in a leadership position to start growing themselves?
I think the most important thing, not only in leadership, in everything in life, is communication. I think that's the biggest problem we have in all our relationships, even with ourselves.
Okay. We fail to communicate.
We fail to communicate. Yes.
Okay.
We fail to communicate with our inner child. We fail to communicate with our saboteurs, judges that we have. That's part of psychology. It's called internal family systems. It's the board of directors that you have in your brain. One will tell you, no, you can't do this. No, you can't do this. All that. Yeah. So once you learn how to communicate with your internal family in your head, when you learn how to communicate with your employees, with your spouse, with your kids, with your dogs, with nature, with God, it's all about communication. And the clearer the communication, the better the outcome.
Is that something we have to learn, or is it something that we have inherently?
Yeah. We have to learn. The problem is that as kids, we communicate so well. But then society, religion, family, school start putting boundaries for you, what you can and you cannot say, what you can express, what you can't express. Especially for us as men, we learn from very early age that it's wrong as a man to communicate. You cannot communicate your feelings, you cannot communicate what you're thinking about. You should be, you should
always be,
you should not be accessible.
And what's your take on that?
It's bullshit.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, as a man, being able to communicate well does not make you any less of a man.
Nope. And honestly, I've had people blame me for that. Like, no, why do you communicate your feelings and so on? Like, you should be more of a man, I'd be like, no, my friend. Being a human is having a balance of your masculine and feminine energy.
Yes, because you do
and
have
learning how, we all have both. Even women have feminine and masculine energy in them. So once you learn how to communicate, things become much clearer. And then you will never reach a place where like, oh, I didn't know that this will annoy you. Because especially if you're a high achiever and you have a whole leadership role and so on. Can you tell me that you can be a CEO with 100 employees under you, go to the office, and everyone is coming with different, the truck broke down, and this happened, and this happened, when you just left home with a fight with your wife? Are you going to perform well?
Probably not.
Yeah, it's definitely not. It's really hard to really shut down your brain and focus on that. And a lot of people tell you, it comes naturally. No, it can't. Yes, you'll push it on the side for you to be able to focus. That's what meditation would help you with. But still, it's there. You need to learn how to communicate to get rid of that. Doesn't mean that all your problems will disappear, but that means that you will communicate what are your boundaries. You will communicate what is the right time to discuss certain things. You will communicate how you like to solve things. Men and women are very different, and even men between themselves are different. Men like to retreat to their caves, as we say, take time to think about it, then talk. Women want to talk about it right away. And they're allowed to talk about it right away, but not when I have a meeting with the president and, no, I want to talk about this. Like, no, find the right time, communicate the right time, communicate that, hey, I would like to talk about something and all that. Like, it just makes it very easy. And when you allow your employees all the way down, even to the janitor, to be able to communicate with you without being scared, you will be amazed how efficient your company will run.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you mentioned about the inner critic and the internal board of directors that are always giving you different opinions about whether you should or shouldn't do. Talk to me about communicating with yourself. Like, what does effective communication with yourself look like, and what does not communicating, having honest conversations with yourself, like, could you contrast the two for me?
Okay, I'll give you an example. You're somewhere, you see a pretty girl. Your first version of you, wow, very beautiful girl, I need to go talk to her I think we'll do good to be together or so on. In whatever setting, whether you heard her talking or in a business setting or so on, you want to talk to this girl. But then another personality pops up in your brain. What if she refused me? What if I'm not handsome enough? What if I'm not rich enough? What if this or that? So you start having that. Now, if you have a broken communication with your internal family system, they will probably overcome you because you have a couple of them. One will tell you, but last time you did that, it didn't go well. This one will tell you this, what if it embarrasses you, what this, what that. They start overcoming you, and you find that majority of the time, you will never actually go and approach that person. If you have good communication with your saboteurs, you tell them, hello, thank you for trying to save me from embarrassment like last time happened, but I know what I'm doing and I know what I'm capable of. And the other one will say, no, but I don't think you're rich enough for her to accept you. I don't think you're handsome enough. You're like, thank you for trying to protect me. I'm still gonna go ahead because I believe that I am beautiful. I am smart enough for me. So this conversation between you and your head, once you learn how to appreciate those people inside your brain, because they all were created in your head because of previous experiences.
Okay.
Yeah. So they are part of you. So you need to acknowledge them. You need to talk to them, and you need to still move on. So you have a board of director meeting with them and be like, okay, I understand your idea. Okay, why are you saying that? Maybe you saw a certain behavior from that person that made you say that. You have all that conversation, and then you say, okay, thank you guys, I'm going.
Now I'm going to make a decision. So it's kind of a lot about also taking charge within yourself, right? It's not.
They're all you. That's the thing.
So it's, I've always found that fascinating how you can have all these like when I'm speaking to you now, I'm seeing Ahmed, right? But inside you, there's different aspects to you that communicate to you in different ways. And I found that fascinating how we have all these different internal versions of ourselves. And most of the time, I think we spend time trying to either hide them, especially if they're like critics. So I appreciate the comment that you made about how to speak to them. Like you don't just say, don't just brush them aside. You acknowledge what they're telling you. Like I hear what you're saying, but I have things in check. Is that
and the more you practice that, it's same as going to the gym. You start growing the muscle. So in psychology we call it the saboteurs, which sabotages your behavior, and the sage part of you. The sage is the one who's actually knows what needs to be done and what's the best way for it to be done. And it's always a conversation between the two to get there. So the more you give power to the sage by exercising those muscles, the more you can actually win your debates with these people inside your brain. And the more, sometimes they'll even disappear because one of them, for example, if you had a trauma, someone attacked you or abused you or something, that new saboteur that comes in will not allow you to be with anyone else because they will always tell you like, no, this will happen if you do it. So when you heal it enough, you have enough communication, it will be so small that sometimes it will even disappear, and you can actually be a healed person and go in and have relationships or businesses or so on without having that weight on your shoulder anymore.
What does meditation do for you? Why do you meditate?
It gives you focus and clarity and allows you to, it's like, what can I say? It's like computer folders. It allows you to go to one folder and focus on what's in it, then go back, go to another folder and focus what's in it. So when your wife just had a problem with you and then you still need to go into the meeting, you can actually like completely go out of the folder and go into another one. That's what meditation gives you. And a lot of people think meditation is a very hard thing to achieve, but you start really small, like anything, even like going to the gym. You start with the first week, all what is needed from you if you want to start meditation is 15 seconds only.
Okay.
If you are able to meditate for 15 seconds without any ideas jumping in
your mind,
you have achieved your goal.
Mm.
Then second week, you start 30 seconds, 1 minute, 5 minutes, and it gives you a lot of clarity. It allows you to really like appreciate the world. Meditation also comes with another thing, which is mindfulness, that allows you to appreciate things.
They're not one and the same thing?
No.
Uh,
Mindfulness, you can do it anytime. If you want to be mindful while you're drinking the coffee, you don't just drink it because you're drinking coffee. When the coffee hits your tongue, you start trying to understand each flavor and what it reminds you and the aroma. That's mindfulness. When you step outside, you hear the birds, you feel the wind and so on, you appreciate it much more. When someone is in front of you and they're talking to you, you learn to listen to each word and each tone, and you understand them much more. It's much better communication instead of just hearing the whole thing and be like, okay, cool, bye. Yeah. You appreciate the person, you appreciate everything about them, their eyes, their nose, their everything becomes more clear. So you live life more fuller.
Deliberately as well.
Yeah.
I discovered meditation in 2018, and I think, like you said, I was having challenges with compartmentalizing different aspects of my life, and I found that meditation helped me create that gap with everything. Like I would stand away from it and look at it objectively, because if you're in the midst of it, it's like
chaos.
Chaos. You can easily get overwhelmed, but when you meditate, you start to create that distance. So tell me about how people can reach you if they want to access your coaching services.
Well, I'm available on social medias. Just yesterday, someone was telling me, you reply to LinkedIn messages? I was like, yeah, I reply to each and every one of them personally. And usually 24 to 48 hours maximum, I reply to anything. The least I reply to is Facebook, because there's a lot of weird messages that come there. But usually if you add me on LinkedIn and you send me a serious message, I look at your profile, see what you're about to and so on, and then we can talk on Instagram, on X, even on Facebook. I'm okay with it, but it should be something constructive. Just 2-3 days ago, someone posted about it, then I posted about it. I have in my inbox 415 hi. I will never reply to a hi, because like I'll spend my life replying to hi. So just say, hi, I saw your post, I want to talk about this, or I want to communicate with you about this. It's okay. You know, it's a lot of people are scared, like, no, you have to say hi first and wait for the other person to say. Like, that's different, you know, that's not a conversation, that's strangers. I have 8,000 people trying to contact me and so on. So it makes more sense to send a paragraph of what they want and so on. It's easier for you and for me. Why do we need to have a conversation for like 50 lines and then you tell me, I want money from you, and tell you, okay, sorry, I can't help you.
Do that.
Like
you could
at the beginning, save yourself and me. Tell me what you want, and I'll tell you if it's possible or not. Especially because when I released the funding program that we're running, we didn't talk about it. A lot of people sending me, I have this problem, I just got a baby, I lost my dad, this. I was like, guys, it's funding program for entrepreneurs and projects. It's not
loans to save you.
It's not just like free money. So to talk about that in short, I started this funding program last year. We received about 200 applications, and we cut them down to 2 in the end. The 2 that came out, and we awarded $10,000 to each of them. That's 250,000 kwacha. And it's a type of grant. We don't want the money back, but we want to actually see these people succeeding and getting to the next level, where we put them in touch with more funders with bigger money. And for this year, the applications opened in January. We're receiving applications, and we're okay with all types of ideas from any field, and we're okay with just idea phase all the way to actually having a business and want to supply it. So from $500 all the way to $10,000 and anything in between, depending on your business and how serious it is. But again, it's a business. We want your business to make money by us helping you. We don't want it to just be a donation.
And how can people apply for that funding?
So it's on my social medias also. It's called Growth for Zambia. So that's a very interesting funding program, and we're running it completely independent. So the money is yours to do whatever you want. I'm not gonna tell you you have to hire me, or you have to get a space, or you have to get office, or this or that. It's your money. You decide what you want to do with it.
Okay.
Yeah.
This has been an awesome conversation, Ahmed. I've really enjoyed having you on.
Thank you.
In closing, I'd want you to talk about how you see yourself playing a part in Zambia going forward, or I would say Africa, because Zambia, I always say Zambia is a very small market, and people who want to grow should always think globally. What role do you see yourself playing in the future in entrepreneurship space when your career is over and you're looking back? What does that look like for you in your mind?
Well, first, I'm still insisting by next year, I want to touch 1 million lives.
Okay.
The goal is still there. I'm still counting. But I believe with the new projects that I'm working on and some other projects that I haven't revealed yet, I will get to my goal. What I want is to empower as many people as they can, for them to discover their superpowers and lift Zambia. I really believe Zambia is the center of the world. And I really believe Zambia can really stand out in the African countries. We have a lot of brilliant people. We have a lot of resources. We have a beautiful weather. We have good hearts. You know, Zambians have good hearts, and that's why I love Zambia. And I see myself in the next few years retiring somewhere by the river, Zambezi, and enjoying having a lot of mentees. A lot of people come to me, like after I've coached them, they transform into mentees, that they can always call me here and there for advice. And I feel proud of them, each and every one of them. And I want to see them succeed. I want to see them take Zambia to the next level. That's why someone asked me when I released the program, why don't you go to space? I was like, I'll have my day, but for now, I want this win for Zambia. I want to put Zambia's name out there as the first one who did this, as the first Zambian who go from all of Africa to win this and go to space. And then later on, I can celebrate myself.
You didn't mention the 1 million kwacha that people are winning. Are they winning it? So it's in two phases. People are doing the game show here, then they get selected to go shoot, to go.
So the program here, 13 episodes. At the end of the 13th episode, one person is left from the bunch of people that started. That one person gets 1 million kwacha, and then early next year goes to NASA to get the training. If they succeed in that nicely, then they stand a chance to go to space. Yeah.
Okay, that's really awesome. So I have this tradition in closing. My previous guest leaves a question for today's guest without having context of who they are.
Okay.
So the question that was left last time is, what's the one thing you wish you would have known early in your career that would have catapulted your success?
I wish I knew the importance of having a mentor. Yes. I always say that I wish I had me 15 years ago. I would have gone much further where I am today. I'm happy with where I am today, but it would have been different. So I would tell others that don't take long before you identify your mentors, and it doesn't have to be one, it can be multiple people, and learn how to approach people for them to be your mentor. I receive sometimes messages, hi, my name is this, can you be my mentor? Like, no, that's not how it happens. You have to build a relationship with the person and so on. So just go to YouTube and type how to find a mentor, how to get someone to be your mentor. Because a mentor can be like all the way a multi-millionaire can be your mentor, but you need to know how to get there. And get it as early as you can in your life for you to learn as much as you can. Because my favorite sentence as an ending is that a smart person learns from his own mistakes, but a wise person learns from the mistakes of others.
Okay, great. What question would you like to leave for my next guest?
What's up?
Could be as random as possible, but I want you to think about it from what you do, from that perspective, so that it can be challenging to them. It could be something you ask your mentees as you're getting to know them, or people that you coach, but what question would you leave for a random next guest that they'll come and answer?
I think I'll leave the biggest question there is, what's your why?
What's your why? Okay, so this has been Introspection's podcast, episode 5, with Ahmed Hamwi, Astro-prenuer, innovator, life coach, business mentor. Subscribe, like the YouTube channel. You can also follow his page, Ahmed Hamwi. He's also running a couple of projects that you may want to watch. One of them is Growth for Africa.
For Zambia.
Growth for Zambia. Growth for Zambia. Growth for Zambia is funding businesses and concepts that can be worked on. You can follow his page for more information about that. He's also a life coach and will be sharing more details about how you can win a free coaching session with him. Thanks for watching, and it's been a good one.
Thank you.